Listen to me now. America has dominated for decades. But the problem is, they believe nobody can replace them. That overconfidence is dangerous. When you stop learning, when you stop adapting, you make mistakes. And this is where India is waiting. Hungry, relentless, focused. America's arrogance will open the door for India's rise. America has been sitting on the throne of global dominance for decades, and nobody denies the sheer strength it built over time. But let me tell you something straight. When a champion believes he cannot be beaten, when he starts to think he is untouchable, that is the exact moment he begins to fall. Overconfidence is not strength. Overconfidence is weakness. America's greatest mistake is not its rivals, not its challenges. It is its own belief that it cannot lose. And that is what will open the door for India to rise to the top. Think about it like bodybuilding. The day you walk into the gym and think you're already the best, that nobody can out-train you, is the day someone hungrier, stronger, and more determined starts training harder than you. They are lifting more, sweating more, and sacrificing more, and when the competition comes, you are shocked, because you stop pushing yourself. This is exactly what America is doing. They think the world still looks at them as the unbeatable superpower. But times have changed. The world is shifting. And while America is flexing its old muscles, India is building new ones. America believes its influence is permanent. They believe the dollar will always rule, that their military will always intimidate, that their technology will always dominate. But that's not how history works. Every empire that thought it could never be replaced eventually fell. Why? Because pride makes you blind. Pride makes you ignore the challenger that is quietly preparing to take your place. America's overconfidence is making them blind to the fact that India is no longer just a developing nation. It is a global competitor ready to claim the title. Look at how America acts in global politics. They impose sanctions, they make threats, they expect everyone to obey because they believe they still own the world. But power doesn't work like that anymore. The moment you act like a bully, the world starts looking for another leader. And guess what? India is stepping into that space. While America is burning bridges, India is building them. While America is resting on its reputation, India is earning respect, day by day, move by move. Overconfidence also makes America underestimate the power of resilience. India has faced poverty, colonial rule, internal challenges, and yet it continues to rise. This is a country that has learned to fight with limited resources, to innovate with less, to push forward against the odds. America doesn't understand that kind of hunger anymore, because it has lived too long in comfort, and comfort is the enemy of greatness. The real danger for America is not just that they make mistakes, it's that they don't even see them. They believe they are too strong to fail. That mindset is poison. When you believe you cannot fail, you stop preparing for the fight. You stop looking in the mirror, and when the punch comes, you never see it. India is that punch. India is the challenger that America is ignoring because of arrogance. But soon the world will see who has the drive, the hunger, and the momentum to lead. Mark my words. The fall of any great power is never because of the strength of its enemy alone. It's because of the weakness within itself. And America's weakness is clear. Overconfidence, arrogance, complacency. That is the mistake. And that mistake will make India the winner on the global stage. America has always believed that it owns the future of technology. For decades, Silicon Valley has been the crown jewel, the land of giants. Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon. The world looked at America and said, this is where innovation lives. But here is the truth. The crown is slipping, and they don't even realize it. America is busy celebrating yesterday's victories, while India is building tomorrow's empires. This is the next big mistake. When you underestimate the new player, when you think you are still the only champion in the arena, you set yourself up to be defeated. Technology is not about who created the last big thing. It is about who is creating the next one. And right now, the engines of innovation are firing in India. Think about it. The engineers, the coders, the scientists, they are no longer confined to American campuses. They are in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, in Pune, in Delhi. The brains of the digital revolution are Indian, and they are not just working for others anymore, they are building their own. They are creating startups, unicorns, platforms that challenge the old order. While America is resting on its brands, India is building new ones. America's mistake is believing that talent will always come to them. For decades, the best minds of India went to the United States, powering their tech companies, writing their codes, designing their systems, but now times are changing. The best minds are staying home. They are investing in their own soil, creating companies that compete globally. And why? Because India now provides the ecosystem, the capital, the hunger and the market to grow. America believes that Silicon Valley is eternal, but the truth is, there is a new Silicon Valley rising in India, and let's not forget the scale. India has the youngest population in the world, a nation of over 1.4 billion people, with more than 600 million under the age of 25. This is not just a workforce. This is an army of innovators. America's population is aging, slowing, while India's youth are coding at midnight, inventing solutions for tomorrow, solving problems not just for India, but for the entire planet. That energy cannot be stopped. It cannot be ignored. And if America continues to underestimate it, will be the mistake that pushes India ahead once and for all. Think about the digital revolution, payments, e-commerce, artificial intelligence, green technology. In digital payments, India has already surpassed the United States. In space technology, India is launching missions at a fraction of the cost, achieving results America spends billions to match. In artificial intelligence, India is producing talent at a speed America cannot keep up with. The momentum is shifting, and momentum is everything. In sports, in bodybuilding, in life, you never ignore momentum, because once it builds, it is unstoppable. America's overconfidence in its technological leadership blinds it to this shift. They still act like every invention will come from their laboratories, every breakthrough will bear their name. But the data says otherwise. Look at patents, look at startups, look at global adoption. India is climbing, America is plateauing, and when the climb meets the fall, there is only one result. The new leader takes the crown. This is why America's next big mistake will be their refusal to adapt. They are comfortable, too proud, too convinced of their superiority. They will laugh at India. They will doubt India. They will say India is not ready. And while they laugh, while they doubt, India will be working. India will be building. India will be rising. Until the day comes when the world doesn't ask, what does Silicon Valley think? But instead asks, what does India think? That day is coming, and America's arrogance in technology will make it happen faster. The next great battlefield is not just about armies, not just about weapons. It is about energy and economy. These two forces shape the future of nations, and whoever controls them controls destiny. America for decades has relied on old systems, old fuels, old habits. They are stuck in a cycle of debt, inflation, oil dependence, and outdated financial arrogance. And here is the truth. That is the exact mistake that will allow India to leap ahead and take the global lead. America's economy is massive, yes, but it is also fragile. Trillions of dollars in debt, printing money like there are no consequences, using the dollar as a weapon instead of a tool. But history shows that when you abuse power, it loses its strength. The dollar's dominance is already being challenged, and countries around the world are searching for alternatives. India is stepping into that gap, building stronger trade partnerships, promoting local currencies, and creating systems that reduce dependency on the American financial machine. America is clinging to the old world order, but India is preparing for the new one. Now let's talk energy. America's addiction to fossil fuels is a weakness. They built their power on oil, coal and gas. But the future doesn't belong to dirty energy. The future belongs to clean, renewable power, solar, wind, nuclear, green hydrogen. And in this race, India is moving fast. India is already one of the largest investors in solar energy. Entire cities are being powered by sunlight. Villages that once lived in darkness are lit by clean electricity. America, on the other hand, argues, delays and wastes time fighting political battles over energy policies. While they debate, India executes. And execution is everything. Think of it like training. You can talk about lifting weights all day long. You can argue about the perfect exercise, the best diet, the right technique. But if you never actually go into the gym and lift, you get nothing. America is stuck talking. India is lifting. India is putting in the work to transform its economy and energy for the future. And that work will pay off. India's economic strategy is also smarter. While America spends billions fighting wars and maintaining military bases across the world, India invests in infrastructure, digital systems, and manufacturing, roads, railways, airports, tech parks. India is building the skeleton of a future superpower. America's mistake is thinking the old system will always work. They think the dollar will always be king, that oil will always flow, that the global economy will always bend to their rules. But the world is changing. The future belongs to countries that adapt, that innovate, that build new energy and new economic systems. And India is doing exactly that. The truth is simple. America is slowing down because it is stuck in the past. India is speeding up because it is focused on the future. And when the race is about energy and economy, the one who looks forward always beats the one who looks back. That is why America's next mistake, their failure to adapt, will make India the global winner. Leadership is not just about muscle, not just about shouting the loudest, not just about forcing others to follow you. Real leadership is about influence, trust and alliances. And here is where America is making its next big mistake. For too long, America has acted like a bully on the global stage, pushing nations, sanctioning them, threatening them, forcing them into choices. That strategy worked when America was the only superpower. But those days are over. The world doesn't want a bully anymore. The world wants a partner. And right now, that partner is India. Look at America's foreign policy. Wherever they go, they demand loyalty. They treat nations as clients, not equals. They say follow our rules, obey our sanctions, accept our dominance, or suffer the consequences. But the world is tired of this arrogance. Countries in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and even Europe are searching for alternatives. They want leaders who respect, not control. And India has stepped into that space with a very different approach. India doesn't force, it engages. India doesn't dictate, it collaborates. This is why nations trust India more than America right now. Look at Africa. India is building trade, investing in infrastructure, sending doctors, creating technology solutions. Look at the Middle East. India is securing energy partnerships while balancing relationships with both the West and Russia. Look at Russia itself. While America isolates, India negotiates. And in Southeast Asia, India is strengthening regional security and economic ties. Step by step, handshake by handshake, India is weaving a web of partnerships that is stronger than any threat. America's mistake is believing fear creates loyalty, but fear creates resistance. Respect creates loyalty. America is creating resistance everywhere. India is creating loyalty everywhere. This is the difference between a fading power and a rising one. Now think about leadership in terms of sports. A great champion does not win just because of his own strength. He wins because he has a great team, great supporters, great strategy. America has the biggest muscles, yes, but they are losing the team. Their allies are questioning their reliability. Their partners are doubting their commitment. Even their closest friends sometimes wonder if America is still the leader they can count on, and that doubt is deadly. India, on the other hand, is gaining teammates every day. It is not threatening them, it is inspiring them. It is offering markets, technology, trade, and stability. This is how you build alliances that last. This is how you create leadership that endures. America's mistake is that it confuses dominance with leadership. India understands that true leadership is about respect, not control. Another important point, America's strategy is short-term, focused on the next election, the next conflict, the next crisis. But India's strategy is long-term. It is not just about winning today. It is about positioning for the next decade, the next century. This patience, this vision, makes India a far more attractive partner than America. Nations want stability. Nations want leaders who think beyond tomorrow, and that is exactly what India offers. So remember this, alliances are the real power in the modern world. One country alone, no matter how strong, cannot dominate forever, but a country that builds alliances, that creates trust, that earns respect, that country becomes unstoppable. America is losing allies because of arrogance. India is gaining allies because of balance, trust, and vision. This is why America's next big mistake will be its failure to understand leadership in the new world. They will keep trying to intimidate. They will keep trying to control. And while they do, India will continue to lead, not by fear but by respect. That is why India is rising. That is why India is winning. And that is why in the battle for global alliances, America's mistake will make India the ultimate champion. The final and most important point is this: hunger. You can have technology, you can have armies, you can have money, but none of it matters if you lose hunger. Hunger is what drives greatness. Hunger is what makes champions, and right now America has lost it. They are comfortable, they are rich, they are satisfied, and comfort is the enemy of progress. India, on the other hand, is hungry, hungry to rise, hungry to lead, hungry to prove itself, and hunger will always defeat comfort. Think of bodybuilding. When I was training for Mr. Olympia, I was hungry. I woke up every morning thinking about the title, thinking about the work, thinking about the grind. The men I beat, they were talented, they were strong, but they were comfortable. They thought they could win without giving everything, but I gave everything. That hunger made me unstoppable. And this is the same story between America and India. America has talent, America has strength, but it no longer has hunger. India does, and hunger wins. India's hunger comes from its history. This is a nation that lived under colonial rule for centuries, a nation that suffered poverty, division, and struggle, but instead of breaking, it built resilience. Instead of surrendering, it fought back. That memory of struggle is still alive. It fuels every student studying late at night, every engineer writing code, every farmer building a better future for his children. This is not comfort. This is hunger, and it is powerful. America, meanwhile, has grown too used to comfort. Generations have lived with the idea that America is number one, that America cannot fall, that America is destined to win forever. But history teaches us one thing: no empire is safe when it becomes arrogant, when it stops fighting, when it stops being hungry. Rome thought it was eternal. Britain thought the sun would never set on its empire. They all fell. Why? Because they lost hunger. And now America is on the same path. Look at the energy of India's youth. More than half the population is under 25. These are young people who are not satisfied with good enough. They want more. They want success, power, innovation, respect. They are pushing themselves harder than any generation before them. This is a wave of energy that no nation can stop. While America worries about division and decline, India's young generation is united by ambition. That ambition is hunger. That ambition is fuel. Hunger also means sacrifice. India knows how to sacrifice. Families invest everything for the education of their children. Entrepreneurs risk everything to build companies. Soldiers stand on icy mountains to defend their borders. This kind of sacrifice is born only from hunger. Comfort never produces sacrifice, and sacrifice is what creates champions. In the global arena, this hunger is visible. India doesn't just want to participate, it wants to lead. It doesn't just want a seat at the table, it wants to shape the table. Every speech, every alliance, every deal reflects this burning drive. And when the world sees a nation that believes in its destiny, that refuses to settle for less, they know this is the future leader. America's mistake is not only arrogance, it is complacency. They are sitting back, convinced that their past victories will carry them forever. But victories fade. History does not reward comfort, it rewards hunger. And this is why India will rise, because in the battle of nations, the comfortable giant always falls to the hungry challenger. So mark my words, America's next big mistake will not only weaken them, it will empower India. Because India is hungry, India is fighting, India is ready. The future will not belong to the one who rests. The future will belong to the one who is hungry. And that, my friends, is why India will win.